This week we've been following the controversy in South Africa between the South Africans and the Indians. And it's my pleasure to welcome Richie Benaud to the studio with me. Richie, firstly, welcome. Secondly, a statement made overnight that I think was very significant, and that came from Shaun Pollock. And he said that he doesn't support moves by the United Cricket Board of South Africa to have the match reinstated as a test. Where's this heading?
Well, first of all, we're finding out a lot more about things that have gone on that haven't been publicised. For example, Shaun Pollock has said that, and he's also added that the players, the South African players, weren't consulted in any moves to have the match played and declared as a test match. So that is new. It's very interesting that the South African captain should be saying what he did. And there are two other things have happened, two other bits of information that have come out. One is that whereas we were told and assured that Mike Denness had made all those penalty decisions on his own, now turns out that the only one he made on his own, which is the one he should have made, that's from the television footage of Tendulkar and the alleged ball tampering, and all the others were referred, the matters of player behaviour, bad player behaviour on the field, were referred by the umpires to the match referee, as they should have been.
Just before we go on any further, let's just catch up on the latest that we've heard out of South Africa. Here's Andrew McKinlay.
India's threatened boycott did not eventuate, but the tourist lineup was without the suspended Virender Sehwag and skipper Sourav Ganguly. He's sitting out the match due to back and shoulder spasms. Sent into bat by Shaun Pollock, India's debut opener Connor Williams copped an early barrage before falling to Lance Klusener for just 5.
Wrapped on the pads here, and the finger goes up.
India crawled to lunch at 1 for 44. The scoring rate improved in the second session, but it came at a cost.
Oh, it's a good shot. Good shout. Yes, good enough for the decision.
The tourists slumped to 5 for 107. Das gone for a dogged 46 before South Africa claimed the prize scalps of Sachin Denness for 27 and VVS Laxman for 14.
This time straight to gully.
India's tail showed plenty of resolve, Deep Dasgupta and Anil Kumble adding 51 for the 6th wicket. Dasgupta eventually fell for 36, India finishing the day at 8 for 221. Nandy Hayward taking 3 for 70.
He's bowled him with another slow delivery. That's gone through the defence.
Meanwhile, the off-field wrangling continues. India's Cricket Board President Jagmohan Dalmia confirming he plans to end the communication standoff with the ICC.
Let the dust settle. Within a day or two, we will be discussing with the ICC. We will be writing to ICC. We will be able to find out a solution which is acceptable to all the parties.
The Indian board remains hopeful the match will be reinstated as an official test.
I have already said yesterday that as far as Indian board and the South African board are concerned, we have gone through the details and we feel that this satisfies all the parameters. And already said yesterday that it will be an official test match.
Well, it won't be officially recognised either in terms of countries' records or players' records. There won't be Test Match Championship points awarded. The suspended sentence and the suspension of the Indian players won't be counted for this match. The player will still be suspended, and you'll have other ramifications down the track.
Yes, Malcolm Gray speaking there. Just a quick check of the score where it is after day one. 8 for 221. The third test match of this series. Meant to be the third test match. I think there's going to be a lot of wrangling going on whether it actually is or it isn't. Richie, from those statements we've just heard, at least we're going to get some communication and probably some resolve in the end of it?
Yes, I think so. It turns out there's another little bit of information that's come out in a small story. Bronwyn Wilkinson, the spokesman or spokesperson for the South African board, has been in communication with Malcolm Gray and Malcolm Speed. They mightn't have been in communication with Mr Dalmia, but South Africa have certainly been in communication with the ICC and at some length. Now, one other thing that's come out apart from the new things, the facts about the Denness referral from the umpires to the match referee, is that the South African government came into it, as well as the Indian government. First of all, India reminded South Africa that they were going to lose 8 million rand if they didn't play the match and if this wasn't a test match. And then the Indian government was called in and they talked to the South African government, who then issued instructions to the players, and that's why you've got in that Sean Pollock thing the statement, the players were not consulted. They were just instructed.
Talking of that consultation, we know that the right manner has been followed in reporting the fielding side. Do you think the Indians are looking back to, say, the Michael Slater incident, and that's what's really riling them? Are they making a comparison, saying, why us, how come not him?
Well, everyone, not just the Indians, have the chance to complain about ICC match referees in the past, because they've been as weak as washing up water. And it's all come to a head with the Michael Slater incident, and that was the stroke that was played. Slater came in to try to take the catch, the ball clearly bounced, and then Cammy Smith, this was in the time where the ICC referees were absolutely weak. Cammy Smith said, cool it, when this behaviour, which is one of the more unpleasant things I've ever seen on a cricket field. Michael Slater, umpire Venkat and Rahul Dravid, and certainly one of the more unpleasant things I've seen, and all Cammy Smith said was, cool it. Now, every other nation at that point said, well, hang on a minute, if he's not going to be penalised for that, why should anyone else in the world be penalised, ranging from schools through to the test match arena? And then the ICC stepped in, and they had their meeting in Kuala Lumpur recently, and that Slater incident there with Venkat and Rahul Dravid was the catalyst for bringing in stringent and much more restrictive penalties on players' behaviour on the field. They issued a statement after the Kuala Lumpur meeting saying the match referees and the umpires will be told to get tough and to stop this sort of behaviour, and that is precisely what's happened. You've got to remember that the ICC consists of the 10 test match playing countries, so everyone, including India, South Africa, Australia and all the others, voted for all these stringent penalties.
Okay, we're I suppose looking at the dark side a little bit, let's look on the bright side. South Africa, December 1, they leave to come out here.